Raiden, the enemy sentry is regaining consciousness.
Be careful, Jack.
Find somewhere to hide until the elevator arrives. You must stay out of sight.
I'm under enemy fire! Secure the perimeter! Stay on the
Sometimes they have not murder options.
I don't believe that, personally. I think this game is an all-murder game all the time. Yeah, that's the one. It's too bad about that. You don't think that the creator is trying to trick us into believing that when it's not actually true, do you?
That'd be interesting.
So,
I'm just trying to think of people in the franchise who have a tendency to pretend to be other people. And
I love you again, G.
I wonder if it's... I think Ocelot is behind it?
no.
Easy.
No, that would be... Pretending to
Well,
be other people? The
there's
only
something-
thing he's ever done is be other people because he was possessed by a ghost.
Yeah, because he's son of the sorrow, so he has that psychic...
Yeah. Any other possibility would be truly ridiculous.
I wonder if so... I don't know, man. It just... couldn't be the Solid Snake, so it has to be someone trained, maybe even with decades of experience pretending to be another snake.
Or it could just be Solid Snake, back from the dead. Maybe it's a zombie Solid Snake.
Crazier things have happened.
Gotta be careful up here. Gotta watch out for bird shit.
Yep.
Looking up once the wrong way. And bam, you're covered in shit.
I thought you meant slipping, but I guess it sucked to get pooped on as well.
I think I figured it out, Colonel. Colonel. You're not even the real Colonel. You're not my real dad. We work in the dark, which is why we sent you to this tanker in broad daylight.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, you know what's more useful than a metaphorical dark?
What?
Actual darkness. This couldn't have waited till tonight.
Killed myself off.
Oh, man, you had to go on and see the theme 10 again. This is on there's a timetable.
What's the timetable? Who dies when?
Everyone dies soon.
Oh, okay. That doesn't seem like a very specific timetable. It seems like maybe you could have waited and assessed the situation some more.
Some people die sooner than others.
Seems like maybe you could have just assessed
Like
that
President Gary
situation.
Johnson.
President Gary Johnson could never die. He's our president.
Yeah,
We've never had a president die in office.
you're right.
Don't you know anything about the past?
Little known fact, every president is fired immediately before his death.
Right.
It's in the Constitution.
All of their assassins immediately before assassinating them have said, "You're fired."
With that accent?
Not with that accent specifically. But, with variations. With some sort of foreign, evil-sounding accent.
You know, I feel terrible to say this, but I kind of forgot about the way riding cartwheels like that.
I know.
It kind of makes that the cutscene I was talking about in Twin Snakes
Makes sense.
like just not quite as bad.
It justifies it a little bit.
Justifies it like, you know, I don't know, becoming an alcoholic to deal with your terrible heroin addiction. That kind of justification. So really more justification.
Trace is almost done.
Just terrible things.
Yeah. You know, he gives me that advice, but I really don't find it terribly useful. Things are already difficult, Roy. Can I call you Roy?
Can you get in trouble even after you leave an area if you've left bodies lying around, or is that about yourself?
I think that's... I don't think that's any of them. I don't recall that.
I thought in some of the like bigger zones in 3 that if you leave people out, still.
Oh yeah, I think that can happen in like specifically 1 or 2 zones. I forget.
Like probably the jungle before the Revolver Ocelot fight, I think, and probably the base at the end, Groznygrad.
Yeah.
Would be my 2 guesses.
I think that's right. Groznygrad is really... I mean, what blew me away about Ground Zeroes was that it was Groznygrad finally realized. I was like, oh, this is what Kojima meant to do. Just wasn't technically possible. Got it now. And then V sort of blew that up because it was a whole different thing. But
I still just wish 5 had more interiors or more bases. Like
I do too. Like if there were a lot more Camp Omegas from Ground Zeroes smattered throughout, I would have been a lot happier. And don't forget how to do pull-ups.
Better not skip any of these cutscenes that come up. They're the cool ones.
Yeah.
They're the good ones.
Shouldn't I feel like I should have found a gun by now?
Yeah, you should have.
Where the fuck was that gun?
No, you don't. Snake gives you a gun, remember?
Really? That's the first gun?
Yeah. He's like, hey, here's a shitty gun for shitty people. And you're like, gee, thanks, Iroquois.
Mr. Pliskin, sir.
And you're like, how'd you get here? And he's like, fast rope descent from a Navy chopper.
Obviously, even though I'm dripping with water bugs.
And you're like, wait a second.
So, there we go.
It's gonna be great.
You could just make as much noise as possible and just run through that door and it'll trigger a cutscene. Cartwheel into it. Hey, who knocked me down?
Too late now.
You're still sneaky.
You can't catch me, boys. Ha-ha!
Isn't this a little bit too early to introduce the cybernetic ninja, though?
It does seem a little early. But one also didn't have that long tanker sequence to warm you up.
Oh, well, no, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Because, like, the Olga fight is the Ocelot fight. Well, I guess you didn't have the tank in between. Which reminds me, my favorite, most deadly member of Dead Cell, the Harrier.
The Harrier jet. Sort of controlled by George Sears, but occasionally by Vamp.
I'm pretty sure it's its own person with its own unique backstory that isn't fully realized, unfortunately.
It's a good thing they're all fighter pilots. Like, they all are qualified. Whoa. They're all qualified to operate a Harrier jet. Slow-mo.
Oh, look at that. Look at that bastion.
What's that Bastion doing?
Oh, that Torqueon turret is pro too.
See, this is why you don't send SEAL Team 10 to do a 6 or a SEAL Team 6 job. That's it. Those are the things I was trying to say.
No, this is why you don't send your army dudes in to fight an evil vampire.
He's not a vampire.
He is clearly a vampire.
They call him Vamp.
Because he's a bisexual, yes, I know. But he is also clearly a vampire.
But that blood spray. How cool is this cutscene?
It's pretty cool. You know what's even cooler? Replacing all of the soldiers with grandmas and replacing Vamp with an office worker lady.
Do they have, like, models? Is there
Yeah,
like
they have a
swap?
model swap theater.
Okay.
They've got like 4 or 5 different scenes, or maybe even more, that you can swap out limited selections of character models with.
No! I'm a little excited.
I can tell. I was pretty excited for this cutscene too. I can't blame you. I mean, this is shot for shot what they had in Twin Snakes for like some of those.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you could see Kojima's handprint on a lot of those Twin Snake cutscenes. And isn't he the one who insisted on redoing all the voice work?
Certainly.
Good old crotch knife. Forgot about that. They at least kept that very consistent with MGS4.
I still like to think that those dog tags are those SEAL members, and those are the only people he's ever killed. Makes Vamp a lot less terrifying, maybe.
He said today, so that means...
Oh man, she flopped.
So that means, obviously, he resets his chest and the dog tags every day.
Okay,
He clearly implied...
that would put him back up to frightening levels.
Right. He made it very clear. He could not have been more clear that this was only today. He resets his chest every day.
I was gonna say,
He sort of shaves it off.
I mean, he does heal fast, but wouldn't there still be...
That's why, he stopped doing that, and that's why he had the chest hair so prominently displayed in MGS4.
Also, I don't know whether it's because everyone's faces are just super smooth, but, like, did he intend Vamp to look as absolutely hideous as he does in 4? Because Vamp just looks bad.
Yeah, he does not look like something Naomi would reasonably
He doesn't look
even
like...
pretend to be lusting after.
Yeah.
He looks like a freaky monster.
He looks like someone who has died frequently.
I think it's a change of events, though. Like, he goes from, like, counting his kills every day to just begging for death. Everyone he meets, he walks up and shakes their coat and asks them to kill him. When they can't, he kills them, but he doesn't take any pleasure in it. This is clearly a very different Vamp featured in MGS2.
Also, does Vamp even know that that's Raiden in 4? Like, for characters that have actually interacted before,
They were fairly impersonal.
It doesn't really seem like it.
Well, more, I think what had previously happened with shooting him in the head and all that. And,
He just forgot.
well, it seriously affected his brain, A. And B, I think Raiden giving him such a strong fight the second time, when we first see those characters interacting in 4, was just so much more impressive that that was the defining feature of their relationship from then on.
So this was just like a bump in the road
Yes,
for
this-
Vamp. Vamp's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, but this
fought weird
awesome
pretty boys
ninja
in skull
battle,
suits all day.
this awesome ninja battle that we're having right here, this is what defines our relationship. Then why did you ask, stupid?
What a great trick question.
Who's 21 trials?
Look at those graphics.
Yeah, I mean, this is the height of realism right here. I can see how they trained our military to be just deadly killers. Weapons 80? I don't think I ever got up to Weapons 80 because the game never actually got that high.
You're right.
That's far more effective than live exercises. You don't get injured in VR, do you? Every year a few soldiers die in field exercises.
That seems like a shitty practice then. Maybe we shouldn't kill our soldiers so much.
Hey man, that's what happens when you take off your helmet. Didn't you ever watch Starship Troopers?
You're right.
Because if you didn't, that's fine. It wasn't a very good movie.
No, it was a great movie. Why do you just take up positions that you know are uniquely designed to hurt me?
Did you really like that movie that much?
Oh yeah, it was a great movie.
Oh.
That was a masterpiece. A masterpiece of political satire.
Pretty much the only reason I ever watched that movie was for the shower scenes in the beginning.
In the middle,
I don't know. There's a bunch of titties in that.
there are SEAL Team 10, yeah.
There's Lieutenant Junior grade. That's an admiral. That's Mei Ling.
Not like shitty Mei Ling and her captainship.
Oh, it is a captain.
Oh. See?
Just like Mei
Now we
Ling.
both look like assholes. That was from the nanomachines, actually.
That was probably from the blood loss, man. It's going pretty good.
They played dramatic music there, so I always thought there was some greater significance to that than Snake was letting on. I'm sorry, I mean Iroquois.
I mean, it was supposed to. I believe it was supposed to be setting up like a fox die, sort of implied.
That makes sense, because that's still the lingering question that they never addressed during this game. They waited until 4 to address that issue.
I guess in the art there, Vamp looked kind of not attractive as a human creature. So.
But I think that's just her drawing style.
Oh, I guess they are kind of all hideous in their own ways. George Sears. Can just barely make out the file down horn.
There's no horn there. He's clearly way different looking than Venom, which is actually perplexing, because they should look pretty much identical, just with different facial hair. They're not real. Gojo's grasp of genetics is not real strong.
Who was their leader that died in prison?
I don't know. Was he Chinaman? The deleted character?
I don't think so. It was like Fortune's husband.
Oh, that's right. Scott Dolph's son-in-law?
Yeah. That's something that they like briefly mentioned, like, oh yeah, like they're in prison and his death like set them off or something. Where do you think he was buried? Where are all these
Blame this
people
on
buried?
you.
Is there a
Yep,
clone
it's all your
graveyard?
fault.
Oh,
And
what
you-
graveyard?
A clone graveyard?
Yeah, it's that same graveyard that they keep the patriot who died for her country in.
All those clones.
Because really, in the end, weren't they attempted clones of the boss before cloning technology existed.
Yeah.
It's really, they're all clones of the boss.
Which is weird, since cloning technology existed when they cloned Solidus. By Solidus, I mean Venom's name.
well,
They
did
cloned him the old-fashioned way, like they cloned Big Boss. From the boss.
Well,
Do you want me to draw a timeline?
okay, I think I'm getting it. I have to sort of smash these concepts together in my head until they pretend to fit.
Aren't you going to answer him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. They're all dead.
I like to think Snake intentionally acted slowly so he wouldn't have to talk on the radio. It's like, he'll probably be dead if I react slowly enough.
I like to think that too, since that's exactly what happened.
Remember my frequency. It's 141.80. 141.80.
I feel like there's something just magical about Snake giving his frequency to someone else.
Place or about dead cell contact me. You're using nano communication, right? Yeah, but I can patch you the frequency.
Nanomachines transmitting radio frequencies.
What's your name?
As much as I like Solid Snake in retrospect,
Right.
like if they could have, God man, why did they make him old? Why did they do Thor the way they did?
Yes.
Because he just had to cram in a quick resolution, and it was like the only thing that made sense to him. It was a metaphor for Kojima's
How much Kojima hates everyone who likes his games.
development career. Is oh fuck, 141.80?
Yeah.
I just, I have a bad memory. No,
Right.
Right.
no, okay. Up also calls him.
Call Stillman.
I can't yet.
He's asleep?
You're a foot away from him. Oh yeah, he gave you your gun, right?
Probably.
Get the nerd.
But first I have to equip my gun.
Oh wait. You should have the M9 already, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I think maybe it was down in the area where,
It's not at the bottom of the elevator.
it's not the bottom of the elevator? Shit.
It's got to be somewhere on that first strut.
Down here?
Oh, I'm dead.
And I pulled out my gun.
Thanks, our killer. But you don't have your Beretta yet. Just fire your gun off and wake up Snake. Oh yeah. I also thought that was a cool touch that the bombs are already placed.
I do too. So what happens if I just whip out my gun?
Pretty buff.
It explodes.
Nothing will happen until you shoot it, and then everyone will
Jack,
die.
it's me.
Everything okay, Rose?
Don't you save the mission data?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Thanks for
yeah,
remembering.
that's kind of pushy though. Maybe don't do that in the future, Rose.
Wow.
Really don't appreciate you telling me how to do my job, Rose.
Kind of a one-sided relationship, isn't it? Like he just wants to be a totally terrible,
I'm sorry, but I still don't have a clue.
he wants to be a ninja. He wants to be really upset about it, and she just wants to like have a kid and hang out with Campbell all day.
Important to that, and we'll talk about it tomorrow.
It's really upsetting that Campbell was never real, right? That's the implication.
Appropriate.
I mean, the Metal Gear Solid 2 Campbell wasn't real, which seems really weird that she would go and like hang out with the real
Right, you would think that would be like an aversion. That would be something she wouldn't want to expose herself to.
There's something I need you to do.
Like, do you think she ever brings it up? Like, hey, do you remember when Jack was sneaking through Big Shell and then you told him and like, oh wait, right.
Sorry, you know, I just really felt like I got to know you during that time. Felt like we grew and bonded.
Yes. Should be a burial record somewhere too.
Buried in France.
You know what's really missing from this game that was in MGS4? Scenes of Rose and Campbell together, sort of like pretending to be affectionate.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, Roy. Everyone can tell I'm genuinely affectionate for you.
Good aeration. You don't have to make a mess. There are some that fall outwards of their shit now, right?
Yep.
Or is that just my imagination?
There's like one or two.
Go back and get that Beretta.
I should, but I'm not gone.
But you need to watch the It's a Dud
Mm-hmm.
cussing first.
This is my favorite theme of the game. I had this shit on my iPod. My actual legitimate iPod. Not the one in MGS4.
That was a legitimate iPod.
I mean, it licensed the iPod name, but it was digital. It was a digital simulacrum. Simulacrum. I can't say that word.
Fortunately, looking good in that bodysuit.
What the hell is that?
You never seen a woman just deflecting bullets in the middle of the walkway before?
Put me out of my misery.
Fortune was kind of a new character.
I liked her.
Look, we'll hit her. Is she the one?
She also was a little more believable in the whole begging for death thing. Like, her whole backstory was that she's always had
everyone
this.
died, yeah. Yeah, so Vamp, forgot Vamp just bit that whole routine off of her.
Yep.
Shameful.
So, like, the idea of him calling her dad king
I now that I actually
as
think
a
about
term
it,
of affection.
I think it makes more sense that because her husband was the leader of Dead Cell, so he was probably king
Ah.
by proxy. I want to know who did that.
Why not try shooting another one? Like, why would you assume that this is completely consistent when you're trying to kill her? If you assume it's completely consistent, you should give up.
It'll look really consistent.
Then you should give up. You should walk away. What is your plan here, guys? What is the end game of walking up to her with guns that you know won't work on her?
I wish we had that one gun.
We did in MGS4.
It was a good one. Oh no. How far do you think that fall is?
Oh, easily like 400 feet? Nah, maybe only like 200 feet. Maybe just like a football field even.
I don't know, that would look pretty tall.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, I'm confused. Why do birds die around here?
Shit. I don't really remember that. I don't know, the electromagnetic field from her shit, maybe?
It just shuts their brains off,
Almost dead.
and its range is wildly inconsistent. Is it because of the railgun? The residual of the railgun?
Yeah, it might have been the railgun.
Fucking kill birds? Like, is it radioactive?
No. But in principle, the railgun should actually just use magnets to shoot something out very fast.
Right,
So,
but somehow it kills birds.
Maybe those birds were just tired. Wanted to take a nap.
You know, that makes sense.
Maybe you just spend time around Fortune. You just want to kill yourself. You just want to die.
I'm sorry, my pretties.
It's just got tired of living.
The entire mission is in your hands now. Do you understand?
Raiden, get a hold of yourself. No pressure, but the world's riding on your shoulders. Words of encouragement. Raiden, have you thought about the fact that you might die at any moment? You'll never get to see Rose again, or your baby. Did I mention?
No.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Oh yeah, she has to be, because Jack's like...
Jack books it after this.
But I mean, I guess Little John was like a full child.
Yeah.
That was like 3 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was like 3 years old. That makes sense. He was a very articulate 3-year-old.
It might have been more than 3 years. 5 years maybe? It's like 3 years since Shadow Moses, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I don't remember how long it is until... Wait.
You should just look this up. You should just look up the Metal Gear Solid timeline.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm pretty sure it's like the Legend of Zelda timeline. It's just people guessing.
No, but like the end of every game gives you an actual timeline from like MGS3 onward.
Yeah, and those are so reliable and not filled with just lies and made up things and then retcon in the literal next timeline.
Mostly retcon. A lot of retcon. Too bad all y'all died. Oh, I should have been paying attention to what to do though. Jeff?
You gotta go talk to Stiller, dude. Your boy.